All right, welcome everyone. We're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we're here for
Orin High School Host Club, episode 10. Last week we had Lobelia. Oh my god.
They were over the top, wonderful,
Yes.
and dramatique. They vowed to save Haruhi, though, from this.
Whether she wants to be saved
This
or not.
patriarchal trap that she has been snared by.
Indeed.
Even though she very much chose to be here and continues to choose to be here, despite the whole shenanigans with the debt thing, there's very much the vibe that Haruhi is kind of okay with this whole thing, and also kind of enjoying herself. Now, they were very fun. They provided also a lot of entertainment, but they also made a promise that they might become the enemies of the Orin High School Host Club in the future.
All for that.
Yes, indeed. Rivals. Indeed.
But
Yeah.
for this next episode,
It
feels pretty up in the air.
feels very up in the air. I could see them having a little bit of a continuity thing where they're like, ugh, what are we going to do about Lobelia? Or we maybe shift a little bit around some of the focus on characters that are maybe a little bit frazzled by the last episode's events. Like maybe Tamaki. I could see some Tamaki.
I could see him being frazzled.
Pretty good.
Yeah. Maybe we'll even get more Renge, appears out of the floor.
I mean, that's like in the checklist of things the episodes have to have, right? At least
Pretty
every
much.
other episode.
Yeah, definitely.
Renga ascends and rises with a new trope that she's going to unveil the true meaning of.
Indeed. After all, we did finally find out who was behind all the banana peels.
That's true.
Renga.
Yeah. Kikaku Dori.
Yes.
So, y'all, without further ado, let's get into this.
Oh! This is great. Oh! What? But it seems like Haruhi's not doing well herself. Like, what's up? Oh my god. Wow. Oh no.
The unlimited cosmos!
Yeah. Oh my god.
Discounted from 980 to 780 yen.
From the supermarket.
Oh my god, this is amazing! Wait.
Oh, it was a dream.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Oh my god,
hold on,
that
where are
was
we?
incredible. That was amazing. Oh, I love it.
Oh my god, yes!
Jesus.
Get a piece of toast, my man.
Yes.
Come on, toast! Tamaki-sama! That animation!
Yeah.
Yes!
It was so fluid.
Yes!
He was fast.
Everyone's here!
Wow. Yeah, just dead.
No.
They think this whole thing is her house. Oh my god.
Aggregates common her dwelling. Doppelgangers! Yes. I'm thinking of you.
Good strategy. Oh.
Talking out loud.
Oh my god.
Oh. Oh, the Yakuza! Wow.
Immediately the lighting changes.
Ara!
いきなり訪問してお騒がせしてしまい申し訳ありません。
Wow. Wow.
Oh, that's sweet though.
Cool.
夢より幾分マシか。消防。じゃあお邪魔します。お邪魔する。
Oh, お邪魔する。
お邪魔します。
Oh my god. Takashi hit his head on the ceiling, didn't he? Wow. Oh my god.
This is amazing. This is like a whole comedy skit right here.
Yep.
Oh. Thanks. Yeah, yeah.
Nice.
Oh.
Yeah.
Measuring cups, yeah. Oh. Oh. Oh, Takashi. Ah. Oh.
Oh my god.
めどなく自由に生きるのやめてくれませんか。
ま、急に訪ねたのはこちらだしな。
Let's go shopping. Let's go shopping.
Yeah.
いいですよ。
心配する。
No need.
お前の生写真。
そう言って元手は自分では。パックのお寿司は特上と書いてあっても高級とは言わないよ。要注意。
Oh my god. Oh my god. That is amazing. Ah, this is incredible.
Daddy, yes. Oh my god. Yes.
いいですよ。今からじゃ時間かかりますよ。待ってる。言ってよかった。
Yeah. Oh. This episode just is so brisk. It's just going through it so quickly.
Quickly becoming one of my favorite episodes.
Yes. 行かないんですか?
Oh. Oh, he's paying respects to her
Yeah.
mom. Oh.
わざわざすみません。
春日はお母さんになんだな。
はあ、父もそう言います。
Oh, okay.
頭も良さそうだ。みんなを待たせてる。
Oh, not showing his eyes. Yeah. Oh.
Oh no. Oh no.
それより重い。
ただいま、春日。なんでドア開けっぱなし。
お父さん。
Oh! Wow! Wait! That's her dad? Oh my god!
Okay.
Oh my god! Yes! 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 Wait, this voice though! Dude!
What?
Do you recognize the voice?
It does sound familiar.
I think it's Dio!
No.
Dude! Because it totally sounds like Roswell. It's totally Dio!
Yeah.
It totally is!
告白真剣に娘さんのことを実の娘のように思っています。
Oh my god. Baka. Yes.
君たちが噂のホスト部ね。本当にいい男揃いね。
Yeah, it's totally Roswell. Like,
ねえ、春日。
yeah.
私のことはランカさんって呼んでくれてるんだよ。ランカって私が働いてるオカマバーでの現地なの。
Oh my god, yes, yes.
She tells me all about you guys.
Oh!
Wow!
つも話聞いてるわよ。
Oh, okay.
いつも今日や
Oh, wait. Wait.
トランカさんは
Wait.
美しいですね。
Does he frequent the bar?
I think so, yes.
お預かりするんだ。ご挨拶はもちろん定期的な報告
あ
は
あ
当然のことだろう。
The mom to this whole situation.
京也先輩と繋がってるなんて聞いてませんよ。
だって春日ば学校の話全然してくんないんだもん。
Oh, so Haruhi never tells him anything. Okay.
一人で買い出し行っちゃいます。
God, this episode so good.
しててください。
Wow.
春日、俺らも庶民スーパー。
いいのいいの。
あー
言い出したら聞かないんだから。あの子
He's still in there.
私も入学手続きも全部自分で決めちゃってね。
Oh, wow.
自立精神は尊重したいけど、たまには甘えてほしいわよね。
Whoa, and now flashback.
お父さんが無駄な飲み方しやがってさ。カールちゃん、たらいま
お酒臭。
山間日に行けなかったこと、相当ショックみたいだな。
Oh,
Okay.
呼んでやんないよ。
No.
ダメ。
yeah.
No.
参観日に来てくれるより、お家でゆっくり休んでほしいもん。
Oh, because he already worked so hard?
だからお休みの日はお家でずっ
Oh.
と寝てていいし、体の方を大事にしてもらいたい。
And little Haruhi.
Yeah, tears.
Little Haruhi's like 8 years old or 7
Uh-huh.
years old here. So
一目で分かったわ。春日の話によく出てくるおバカな部長。
wait, I
Man.
thought she never tells anything
Wait.
to
Yeah.
him. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Wait a minute.
Does she only talk about Tamaki?
Oh.
男と勘違いしていたんだってね。ないとね、最低。
Now they're growing on him. The
いい
mushrooms.
ことして遊ばない。
God, yes, please. Oh my God.
I can't wait to see what they're up to when Haruhi comes back.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Oh my god, of
これが
course.
いいことですか？
And he's leading the
Uh-huh,
antics.
yep, yep.
He totally fits
っ
in.
ていうか、いい男をたくさん引き連れて歩いてみたかったのよ。
Ah, this is a commoner in their natural element, I see.
Hey, still the mushroom!
There.
必要があるのですか？お父様。
Hey, he calls him father!
あれ？
Oh!
お父さんどうしたの？
Oh, good!
急に春日の買い物かご持ちたいなーって。お父さん買い物かご持つの大好きなんちゃって。
変なの。
甘え知らずっていうか、欲がないっていうか、こっちが気遣う隙を与えないの。そのくせ自分は無意識に人のこと救ってくれちゃったりするんだね。
Okay.
それは
Alright.
わかります。
I don't think the mushrooms are there for that shot.
No.
玉木先輩どうしたんですか？
あ、急に
Oh!
買い物かご持ちたいなーって。そう、お父さん買い物かご持つの大好きなんちゃって。
変なの。
Oh, she responded the same way!
キノコ。
No, and the mushrooms are back.
Yeah, okay.
タイムサービスとは時間制限が。
Wow.
何か食べたいものありますか？
お鍋。
Oh,
Yeah.
hot pot.
で春菊が入ってないの。
No
そうですね
chrysanthemum.
人数が多いときは鍋物がいいですね。
Hot pot's the way to go for sure. It's the family
それで
meal.
もいつか欲のないあの子がただ一人の人の
Oh!
そばに
It's not gonna be
心から
me.
望む日が
It's
来るの
probably gonna be him. Yeah.
やっ
Oh!
ぱ考えただけでムカ
Uh-huh. Yep.
つく春菊
Oh, the chrysanthemum. Yeah. Oh my God! That episode
Wow.
was so
That episode was
chock-full.
amazing.
That was incredible.
That was so good. I feel so bad that we didn't
Oh.
realize immediately that it was a dream.
Oh, the
Like-
beginning bit there.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the point of the skit, right?
Right. Well, and
Yeah.
the show is extreme enough that I wouldn't have been surprised if they tried to do something pseudo similar to that, you know?
I see. Yeah.
But oh man. Oh man.
I have to confirm that though. That is definitely Dio. It's definitely Dio. Like, there's no way because
Maybe?
think about Roswell.
Uh-huh.
He didn't go nah, they go nah.
And that's apparently Dio?
yeah, that's totally Dio. Yeah.
Oh my god.
So then this is the
The progenitor for that?
This is the progenitor for Roswell,
Right.
the Roswell voice,
Uh-huh.
but it's more muted and more realistic. Like, it's more
Right.
casual.
Yeah, less flamboyant. Yeah.
Right, right. Wow.
Wow, that was an amazing
such a good episode.
This episode was
Hands
incredible. Oh my
Best
god.
episode we've seen thus far.
Yeah,
so good. Actually, just
it was just
blew my
jam-packed
mind
from beginning to end with jokes, wholesome moments. Like there was never a dull moment.
Never a dull
like,
moment. The pacing was
yeah.
rapid fire going through it. It was so good.
Orin as a show is, wacky enough and crazy enough that the energy levels don't exactly ever like drop too low, right? But
absolutely.
But this was unbelievably consistent with how high it kept the energy levels. It was incredible. Like
from the dream
from to waking up and I got to go to school and
from the antics with his servants and his maid and stuff. Then all the way back to the fact that the dream informed a lot of his fears regarding Haruhi's living situation, so that he ropes the entire club to go and do research on her place and stuff. And meanwhile, Kyoya's the one that's actually like, oh no, I've got a pretty good handle on what should or shouldn't be what we'd come to find there. But then everyone else is barely holding down
this her house?
The whole mission.
No, this is one of those
commoner
aggregate
living situations. Yes, it's just one of those rooms.
Oh
yes.
my god.
Oh my god. This was so funny. Then we end up in this situation where Haruhi's like, yeah, okay, fine. I'll let
putting
this whole
up
thing
with
happen.
them.
Put up with them. So we go through a lot of the episode before we even meet her dad.
Right.
And then by the time we get into the place where we're like, oh, okay, they're going to have lunch. And it's like, oh, we'll set up some sushi stuff.
You've got
we'll go shopping for it. And then we get this really sweet moment where Tamaki is paying his respects.
Yeah. And
oh, that was... Oh, so good.
One of the things that I want to bring up for this episode, oh man, like my head hurts just trying to think about all of the wonderful things they packed into this episode. But like in the first half, with okay, they get to Haruhi's house and everything before the dad gets introduced, right? There is a ridiculous amount of comedic miscommunication and assumptions and things like that being made by the host club about Haruhi's situation, right?
Yeah.
And it basically, I feel like we can divide the host club down into two groups now, like non-Haruhi that is. We've got we've got Tamaki and the two twins, right? And they are the nonsense.
The nonsense brigade,
right? The nonsense brigade, and it's wonderful and it's great. And they were firing on all cylinders this episode, right? Then, on the other side, we've got Kyoya, who is, of course, the mom of the group. But then we've also got Honey and Takashi, right? And they are also, actually, yes, Kyoya, of course, but Honey and Takashi are quite sensible, right? Yeah. So, things like Honey being like, hey, I brought cake. And then he's like, okay, I suppose we can do tea.
Have tea, okay.
Right? Takashi doing the whole thing of, you like strawberries, right? Here's mine. And it's like, and then everyone else is like, oh
my god, we should have done that.
We should have thought of that, right? But the dual lane nature of this episode, especially in the first half, where it's you've got all the it's the straight man routine to the crazy comedy, right? But in groups of characters, right? Because you've got Tamaki and the twins, and they're just constantly adding things to the scene, right? And then you've got everyone else and their responses to it.
Right.
And it's wonderful. It's lovely.
And Haruhi has to navigate the whole thing solo. And it really does almost bring up a picture of what her life has been like. Navigating the chaos of the sensible and the nonsensible, or the nonsense, right in the middle.
Yep.
Not falling into the areas of either or. Just having to thread that, and that is not easy. That is not easy at all. But she's doing great for herself. She made it into Orin Academy. She's doing a fantastic job with this. She has people around her that care deeply about her, even if they're a bunch of bakas.
Right.
Then we meet her dad. And of all the things
I did not see that coming.
I did not see that coming at all.
It makes so much sense, though.
So much
because,
sense.
of course, Haruhi would just be like, I don't, I'm not stuck to dressing one, particular way. It's like, because your dad's not, right?
Yeah,
there you go.
Yeah, I have no limitations on what I should or should not do based on my gender. So it's like, absolutely.
But also, before her dad gets introduced, we had something else happen. We had the wonderful wholesomeness of Tamaki paying his respects, right?
Yes.
And that's a great great way to remind us, even in the midst of all of this craziness with Tamaki just being a baka,
Right.
that he is also really sincere.
And he
right?
does care about
He does
her a lot.
care. He does care, even though a lot of the times he puts up facades and deflections, and because he might not feel comfortable actually addressing that, right?
Yep.
But then we have the classic, oh no, they stumble. Is this going to be an accidental groping scene? One, I love the fact that it didn't end up being that. It was just that he fell on top of her, right? But there was no like, oh no, my hand went here.
Yeah.
Two, the fact that Haruhi didn't freak out and baka or anything like that. And of course she wouldn't, because she's not the kind of
a
person.
surprise,
but it's just a thing of, oh, get off me. Like,
heavy.
You're heavy, right? Like very normal, practical stuff. And then of course, her dad shows up.
Yes.
And twists of her dad not necessarily being what we expected aside, that in my mind is like the ultimate way to like turn the accidental stumbling and falling on top of the girl kind of a thing and taking it to a whole other level. Because even though there was no accidental groping that happened or anything like that, having the dad suddenly come in and be like, wait a minute, this person that I've never seen before, and he's got my daughter pinned to the ground. Oh, you're gonna die. just super fast, just wham, throw him through the wall. Like, oh my god, that was
and the fact
beautiful.
that it was the dad. So we have Fujioka Ryoji, 35, Ranka, aka Ranka, real name Fujioka Ryoji, from his shift at the gay bar. Of course, wonderful.
Yep.
And that means that very odd kind of hours and stuff like that.
Right.
So he had to come basically home really early in the morning, which is why he wasn't there, in the beginning.
Right. Also, I got to say that that's something that I really appreciate, because oftentimes in coming of age stories, you want the parents to be absent so that way you can give the main character the proper space in order to truly come into their own, right? But one of the problems...
Just the animation was so good.
Amazing. But one of the problems that can come from that is, how do you make it so that the parents still feel like good parents, right?
Right, exactly.
The whole thing of the single parent that works at the bar, like, I love it when that's done, because that's something that can be quickly picked up with, like, it doesn't require a crazy amount of technical training and things like that. It can pay the bills, right? And then 2 or 3, it's weird hours, right? So it's a reason for them to be very much hardworking and working to support their child and everything, and yet at the same time, they're not around when the child would be, hanging out with friends and things like that. So it forces them to need to be a bit more independent, right? And then, because, her dad's gone until probably the wee hours of the night, right? Like, he's coming back now in the morning.
That makes sense,
right?
too. Because most bars and stuff like that are going to be closing down basically for a little bit, maybe in the morning, like the wee morning hours. I mean, like pre 5 a.m.
And normally he'd probably come home and then go to sleep, right? And then that would be basically a lot of what he would do, and then
it'd be basically like this with their
passing like ships, right?
Yeah.
But because circumstances, right? When he comes home, Haruhi is on the ground, Tamaki is on top of her. And, next thing you know, Tamaki's through a wall.
And the way Haruhi's like, wait, what was that loud noise? Oh, no. Oh, no. My left arm aches. Like I just knocked down the biggest brute of the century. I love everything about her father. Yeah. The fact that the way he comes in with just this, like, absolute joy to be like, Haruhi. And then, and smash it. Yep. It's just...
Oh my god!
I love it so much.
Yep.
Oh my god! There's just so much panic you can feel, like panic, chaotic energy from Tamaki after he's like, of all the things that I can do to show her how much I care, and that can't be faked, the fact that he pays respects to her mother,
and he didn't. Or keep going.
What were you gonna say?
Well, I was gonna say that he didn't draw attention to himself doing that.
No, exactly.
It was something that he was going to do in private just because he felt like that was a good thing to do.
Yeah. And because there was a possibility that based on the fact that they were leaving to go shopping and stuff, that he might not actually get to come back into the house. So it's probably something where he's like, whoa, if I'm here.
Do the most important thing before I leave, yeah.
And also, it was shut, so he would have had to divine, based on the fact of him listening to her in the past, that her mother has passed away. He then looks around and goes, traditional Japanese household should have something that is a shrine of sorts set up to honor her passing, and that they can pray and kind of give a little bit of respect to her. So he looks around, sees a cabinet that doesn't look functional in any way. So he's like, oh, okay, this is one that probably is it. Opens it, was right, gives respects there. Everyone else heads out. This is showing that extra step that even if it's something based in his his egotistical kind of thing to stand out the most, this is something that he couldn't really fake. So it's genuine, it's real, and it's really impactful. And of course, the unfortunate situation is that the dad comes in right after the antics happen. But if he had seen Tamaki doing this, he would have been like, oh my God, this sweet boy.
So it is truly like the worst timing for everything. Which
just lends to the comedy of the whole situation. And still, by the end of the episode, Tamaki's approval ratings went up quite a bit. Because he is in some ways, he's
a baka, weird, but he's a compatible form of baka.
He's your type of baka.
Like
it's your type of baka.
And the big issue with a character like Tamaki in general is that, in order for him to have a really sincere, good relationship with somebody, he would need to be with a person who really understands how he functions, so that way they can cut past the bullshit, basically, right?
Yes.
And because of circumstances, Haruhi can do that, right? So, yeah.
And the whole rest of the episode being one where we realize how similar Tamaki and Ryuji are in this case. That's something that's really cool, because it's not Haruhi realizing it. It's not Tamaki realizing it. It's all the other members of the club who have that kind of outsider's perspective looking in on this. But at the end, it's Ryuji, the father, that then notices the way he does the exact same thing from the flashback of 6 years ago with the, just here to take your shopping cart. Or shopping basket or whatever. Haha. Oh, you're weird. Because, oh my God, this is so precious.
Also, something that you pointed out before we got to the discussion that I had kind of like a general sense of, but you were the one who specifically pointed it out, is that in the flashbacks, we see them at different times. And we see what was probably, I'm guessing 8 years ago, would have been the closest to when Haruhi's mom died.
Well, yeah. We know that she died before all the flashbacks.
Exactly. So that would be the closest one, and then the only question is how close, right?
What you're meaning is that it's very close, potentially.
That it could potentially be very recent. And from what we saw of Haruhi's dad back then, he kind of...
he was dressing more stereotypically like a man would, like a typical guy would.
Like young, irresponsible.
Irresponsible guy.
Is what it makes me think of, which makes sense given like how his personality is very similar to Tamaki, because Tamaki is definitely irresponsible. And then that also fits with the balance of, if Haruhi's mom was a lawyer, she kind of was the compensating factor for that in the relationship, potentially.
In some ways, she was the sensible one, and the father was the nonsensical one.
And then all of a sudden,
who broke through that.
She's gone. And you can only imagine how lost both of them would have felt,
absolutely.
Right? He doesn't necessarily know how to handle this, right? Because my daughter, she lost her mother. What do I do? And then over the course of the flashbacks, we see him start to basically clean himself up a bit more and
adopt more feminine kind of typical attire and characteristics with regards to putting on lipstick and makeup.
But just in general as well, being intentional about things, right? And that's
exactly
that's a whole story that we don't actually see. We just see the results of, right? And then
we can infer a couple things,
And
that's a really cool little detail there, because it shows that it wasn't some day where Ryuji woke up and was like, I'm going to, present myself in a much more feminine way. No, if anything, there's a possibility that, like, he was always, at the very least, into men as well as women. And
right, and I think he said as much like that. No, I've always been bi. Like, what are you guys talking about?
Did he say that?
I feel like he said that at some point.
Because there was a part where I was gut-busting laughing that I might have missed a couple things there.
Uh-huh.
But,
I can't remember where it was, but...
Deus Ex Machina, died in the wood, capillaries, fooling around as he confessing his love, thinks girls is my own daughter, a refined set of boys. Ronka is the professional name I use at the gay bar where I work.
Right.
So it's like a stage name.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, but that has nothing to do with his sexuality necessarily.
Right, and that was something that I was really glad that they pointed out, that it wasn't that, like, this is my like preferred name, and and then any potential preferred pronouns going along with that. It's the that's a work thing. It's the part of the job.
Right.
Yeah.
But this is something that I would say is entirely part of who he is as well. It's not just something that he puts on for the bar.
He chose this persona for his work. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
And then that subtle thing of like, oh, wait, Haruhi doesn't tell you stories much? No, I actually hear about this from Kyoya. Oh, wait, how do you know Kyoya? It's like, what would be the way that potentially you guys could have met anywhere?
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
A little more subtle nods towards Kyoya. But I liked that the dad also lied a little bit, and it says, you never tell me anything. Whenever someone's like double emphasizes a
negative,
never ever
right.
Or something like that, you have to wonder, what's the emotion behind that? Because what they're saying is probably factually untrue.
Right.
But then when we find out, Tamaki knows a little bit about Tamaki, and then find out that she actually does tell him things about Tamaki.
Right. And
Kyoya very much was like, took note of that. Yeah. So it's more proof that Haruhi doesn't tell him much.
Or at least not as much as he would like.
Right. Definitely not as much as he would like. Yes, of course. But I'm getting at the idea that he does hear stories specifically about Tamaki.
Yes. Which is,
Yeah.
But, like, that... Oh, man. I love this episode.
So
I
good.
love this episode. I love the introduction of her dad as a character. He is just wonderful.
Such a joy.
I hope he is a recurring character.
Yeah.
And apparently you were quick on the uptake on this.
Oh my god.
He's voiced by Dio.
It took me a little bit. But there's something about that, those little bits where I was like, Roswaal.
Hold on.
Because we're watching ReZero right now.
Right.
So it was kind of fresh in my mind just a little bit. And Roswaal is a very dramatic, flamboyant kind of voice that the voice actor uses. But this one feels like the source of where the ReZero probably casting director was like, ooh, you did a really good job
as Haruhi's dad
in Ouran High School Host Club. We're going to bring you in as Roswaal here. We want you to ham that up way more.
Yeah.
Like, it's really hard to tell that that's Dio. But there were a couple moments where I was like, oh, no, you can't hide it. You're a fantastic voice actor, but you are iconic.
The signs are there.
Yeah, exactly. It's not Yuki Kaji level iconic, but it's literally like 0.1 levels of iconic below that. like right below that is so close. But oh my god, so good. The rest of the boys though, you kind of felt that each of them were leaning really hard into their shticks. Except, and I want to bring this up, except for two of them.
Yeah.
Takashi and Kyoya felt to be a little bit more confident. I wanted to bring up this because Takashi at times feels like he kind of has the older brother vibes with Haruhi. But I feel like in recent episodes, he's become a little bit more like, no, I'm going to take the initiative a little bit in doing this stuff rather than doing it in a response. Right. Because him being the quiet character means usually he's probably only responding.
He's usually passively quiet as opposed to, like, actively quiet. Like, Yeah,
Kyoya, though, felt like he was on, like, data acquisition, like, acquiring thing. Which, if you remember what their initial mission was for coming here, that Tamaki set up, Kyoya is helping him.
Yes.
Kyoya is actively
That's true.
doing research.
He's playing
and,
wingman.
Yeah, he is playing wingman quietly. No
Yep.
one is really paying attention to him, obviously, but he's like,
Yeah, he carries this club on his shoulders. The whole bit with the dad.
Mom is on the case.
Mom's on the case, and then the whole bit with the dad
Yes,
being like,
yes.
yes, you're such a good, like you basically could be the president. You
Right,
know,
right.
If you're only the vice president of the club. The president must be
so
completely useless.
Yeah.
Then, you know, like also just to like as like a bit of confirmation of the question of like, wait, does Kyoya know Haruhi's dad from the bar? Mm-hmm. He calls Haruhi's dad by his bar name.
Right. Yes.
Right?
Uh-huh.
Ranka or
Ranka, yeah.
Yeah, Ranka. Yeah. I wanted to make sure I wasn't getting it confused with Renge. But
Reka was underneath the house though, with her monkeys and bananas though.
That's true. A banana peel did end up. Wait, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Wait.
By the shrine, yeah.
So I guess that device that she has underneath the club just
It can
is
go
like it's
all throughout
mobile.
Japan.
Yeah. Secret tunnels. Yep.
She contacted Elon Musk and set up the initial test for the Boring Company, and they've been digging tunnels all throughout this area. And Renga is practicing like
as a part of Kyoya's like research initiative, basically, he's like, okay, Renga, we're gonna be going, here. She's like, all right, cool, I'll get prepped. It's like, oh, there's a key point. He's like, all right, are you running low on bananas? No, I've still got
I've still got
plenty.
a few dozen. Yeah.
And just whew. Oh man. Yeah,
The monkeys are quite interested in my talks on deconstructing the common tropes among harem protagonists.
Yes.
Oh, I see.
But like this episode was so densely packed with stuff.
So packed.
It was like and striking that really good balance of wholesome and hilarious.
Yes.
Yes.
I am.
Oh, man.
I am impressed. I am genuinely impressed with how zany this show is because I've come to accept the visual presentation for how the show communicates its comedy and its characters, more genuine, like multi-dimensional emotions. Because a lot of times the characters are primarily acting within their shticks.
Yeah.
So you can kind of go, as expected of such and such. But within this episode, there were multiple times where they would quickly jump into the little chibi faces and the little hexagons and stuff. Then jumping into completely different lighting, shading, art styles for the characters.
Yep.
And then in the same like sequence, shifting the frames immediately into back to the normal style. And this was happening at a rapid, manic pace. I would say that since the dialogue was pretty easy to follow and track with, except for the part where I just started laughing so much that I literally wasn't reading anything.
It did get pretty fast at points. Like
I was like, I'm really glad that this wasn't one of my first few anime. Because I definitely
to be able
wouldn't
to
have
properly appreciate it.
I would not have appreciated this anime, especially this episode. this much.
Well, especially with Haruhi, because
so
Haruhi
good.
is such a she is a wonderful character that I feel like gets better the more female anime characters that you've seen, right? Because you start to see where a lot of the tropes are, and then Haruhi being that breath of fresh air of like normalcy is a lot more appreciated.
It's also one of those things where sometimes our standards can be so low at times with regards to
Totally.
Yeah.
Hunger is the best sauce. Like, yeah. But
I'm just saying, Haruhi is a wonderful viewpoint through a lot of the antics that goes on in this show, and also a fantastic straight man to all the zany nonsense that she's had to deal with.
Yes.
But the fact that also, little extra thing, in the previous episode with Lobelia, we had the full-on matriarchal, like women first kind of system coming in,
with
basically
the salute
saying,
and everything.
right, but coming in and saying, we're going to save you from this environment with only men basically involved here. So obviously you as a maiden need to be saved from that.
Right.
And she's like, no, I choose that. We then get to see her house, her living situation, her home, with only a father, only that there. And yet, because of his desire, and I believe really that this is part of it, because of his desire to be also some aspects of a mother to Haruhi, he's now like in some ways able to be both. And
Sure.
I really feel like it's something to show where Haruhi's maturity is in not defining and limiting so much of what a father or a mother or a brother or a sister or what male friends, female friends, or friends of any type could be. And thus, when she comes in and kind of defies all the expectations of the host club in the earlier episodes, this is her origin. This is where she came from, and it fits. It works.
Common sense is
so
not
good.
as common as you know, we might like to believe, right?
Yeah. In some ways, we are all the host club members at specific times of our lives and stuff. Sometimes we're Takashi, sometimes we're Kyoya, sometimes we're Tamaki, just constantly putting our foots in our mouths. Yeah.
Exactly. And Haruhi's common sense isn't actually that common, and it came from very specific places.
Yeah.
You know, it took specific things to get her to the place that she is today.
And it wasn't all great.
No.
A lot of it was pain. A lot of it was the idea of, well, I have to rely on myself. I have to be the one to take up the charge here. And and wouldn't it be great for her? You can almost feel it. Like, wouldn't it be great for her to be able to relax and have some time at the host club and just let them take care of her for a little bit. So good.
So there were a few specific things that I want to bring up, just to make sure that I don't forget them. One, we talked about the animation of when Haruhi's dad threw Tamaki through the wall. Incredible. The other bit of animation that I really appreciated is at the very beginning of the episode. When Tamaki does the backwards walk. when
he's got his pants.
The wrong pants on.
His pajamas on.
That was amazing. But then also, not an animation thing, the point where we see in the past that the dad really wants to go to Parent Day, right?
Yeah.
And Haruhi doesn't want him to go.
Yeah.
And there's a part of I can't remember if it was him or his boss that was like, "Oh, is this because I'm gay? Like what is she embarrassed or what's going on?" And then she's like, "No, if you're going to be taking time off work, you should be spending your days off sleeping, resting." She was like, what, like 8 years old or something back then? Like, but she already could realize.
He was just upset. He was just upset that he wasn't going to Parents' Day. He's like, invite him. It's like, and then she just says, I'd rather let him have some time off. He's exhausted. I don't think there was any guessing of embarrassment in any way.
It was earlier when he was at his job.
Oh, yeah. She couldn't invite you to Parents' Day because she's embarrassed that her daddy's gay, right? Oh, you're right. Yeah.
I think you've got that wrong. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's because the whole idea of and okay, this is a bit of
I didn't even see this line. Did you see this line?
Oh.
Now that I've settled on loving no one besides Kotoko.
Wow.
I'm just trying to keep my reputation so I can stay on the job.
Oh, man.
So... okay. Okay, sorry, I interrupted what you were doing there, but I didn't even notice that line.
No, thanks for bringing that up, because I missed that too. So, with coming-of-age stories, I'm zooming out a little bit, but with coming-of-age stories, there's... And certainly, I mean, when I was growing up, and I know it's like this for a lot of people, there can be this rush to grow up fast, right? Because everything's going to get better once you're an adult, right? And there's the whole cliche of then the older people being like, no, it's gonna fly by before you know it, and cherish this time that you have right now,
Right.
And of course, you never do from the standpoint of the older people, right? But this is a situation where, because of something that happened, Haruhi was forced to grow up early.
Way too early.
Way too early, right? And doing things like going shopping and things like that. And of course her dad would follow her to make sure that she's doing okay. And that's, again, one of my favorite examples of the, following this person because you're concerned about them. Yeah, it's the dad. And yeah, because he's not going to let his 8-year-old go to the supermarket, by herself, right? But she wants to do this because she wants to help. Because even if she's only 8 years old or however old she was back then, she is old enough to realize that there was a problem, right? That something happened that put her through the ringer, but is also putting her dad through the ringer. And as such, she's going to do what she can to help him.
Yeah.
That is awesome. And yet it is the thing that you would never hope someone would have to do, right? That is exactly the kind of thing that Haruhi's dad would probably want to protect her from, right? So that she can have that whimsical life of, whatever, goofing off and having that childhood. But, she buckles down. She, does the cooking and the shopping and enrolls to Orin all by herself, does the paperwork, gets accepted. Like, that's...
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I can't begin to imagine how much her dad must absolutely love her, how proud of her he must be, and how much he cares about her, which then, with the whole thing with Tamaki later, yeah, of course he's protective of her, right? And the fact that, you managed to show him without even realizing you were doing it, Tamaki, that you care about Haruhi a lot too.
Yeah.
You can take that to the bank.
Seriously.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course, at the end,
hot pot,
but then he's shoving all the chrysanthemum into Tamaki's bowl.
Yeah.
Still going to give that awkward, stereotypical dad energy of how dare you even think of approaching my daughter.
Right. Yeah.
But wow.
Such a good episode.
Fantastic episode.
Oh my god.
Really, really surprising how much they made this a Haruhi-focused episode, and yet had multiple characters get tons of extra characterization beyond just Haruhi. So, y'all, thank you so much for watching this episode's reaction and discussion. If you want to see the next episode's reaction and discussion right now, though, go check out the link in the description below for our Patreon. You can get on early access there. You can watch full-length timer reactions there, and all this comes with Discord access, so you can chat with us and the community there about this show, about anime in general, and also be sure to check out our Twitch channel.
Yep, we stream every weekday. The info's in the description.
Yes, if any that interests you, we'll see it there. But until then, we're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we'll see you all
next time.